Some people will never help you if helping you will help you to elevate even more. I need you to get this, particularly for those of you who are leveling up your life, those of you who are entrepreneurs, those of you who are in ministry. Don't be shocked. Don't be shocked, especially in ministry. Don't be shocked. I need you to like, subscribe, share if you find value here. Let's get this channel to 100,000 subscribers. I know with your help we can do so. So some of you have been very frustrated and agitated because you've reached out for support in your business, your ministry, maybe someone just kind of making an introduction for professional reasons. It could be something in your personal life. And it's no skin on their back to do this little favor. And let's set the table. Let's set the table here. And this is somebody who you've looked out for. So that's the context of this conversation. This is someone who you have looked out for. This is someone who you have supported without hesitation. This is someone who you have helped when you were able to help them. And so it didn't even occur to you that they would flake on you and be shady because you did a solid for them. You supported them. You gave them a referral for business. You made an introduction that led to the growth of their business. These are just some examples. You can insert your own. And so it is shocking when you looked out for them without a second thought that they would be selfish and not look out for you. But it gets even better. So not only do they not look out for you, but they string you along, giving you the impression that they're going to support you. Yes, I'm going to make the introduction. Yes, I'm going to do this particular thing and make this referral. But they have no intention. And rather than giving you a straight up no, they string you along and you have helped them. So that is the context of this video so that we understand what we're talking about here. So what we're not talking about is when you're selfish, meaning that you only look out for yourself. Now you're coming around because you need something. People are not going to be too much in a hurry to help somebody like that. No. I'm talking about you're a solid person. You've showed up. You've helped. But now that you are in need and you need a little support for your business, your ministry, the thing that you're working on, it is crickets. And it's not just crickets. The person is stringing you along rather than giving you a straight up no. The person will see you and be like, oh, I got you, and I'm going to do this for you, and I'm going to do that. And they talk a good game, but there's no substance when they talk what they talk, and you are asking follow-up questions. There is no follow-through. See, this is the thing about relationships that's important to understand, and I'm speaking to the believer. Biblically speaking, relationships are supposed to be reciprocal, not transactional, but reciprocal. Proverbs 27 verse 17 says, as iron sharpens iron, a man sharpens the countenance of his friend, meaning mankind. So iron sharpens iron. That's two iron blades sharpening one another. It's not one iron blade getting sharpened while the other one just dulls the other iron blade. No, they both sharpen one another. That is the analogy in this proverb. So they're saying just like two iron blades will sharpen one another and make each other sharper so that they can do what they are meant to do, so that they can function in purpose. Our relationships are supposed to be iron sharpening relationships to help us become sharper personally, professionally, spiritually, in all the different areas of our life. Now, if one person is sharpening while the other person is dulling, that is not a reciprocal relationship. You have a parasite. So when you are the person who is helping everybody else, and I'm not even talking monetary help. I'm talking about it can be help that you share their business on social media. And let's say that this is not a business that goes against your values and your principles. So we're going to take everything off the table because you know that narcissistic, manipulative people like to pretend they don't know what we're talking about here. So what we're talking about, you're a solid person. You made referrals for this person. You made introductions that led them to getting more contracts, more business. You got them a job. You post their posts on your social media to help them get traction. You post their podcast. Not tell them you post their podcast, because you don't know. That's somebody talking. But they can actually go to your page and see that you post the podcast. They can see that you shared the book. They can see, not that you say, oh, I always share your stuff, because there's no proof in that. You don't know. But you can actually go back and see. They can look at your page and see that. Yet, when you ask them to do the same for you, they're full of promises, but no follow through. And so, rather than giving you a straight up no, so that you know not to waste your time, they promise you till the cows come home, but there's always an excuse, and there's no follow through. There's an excuse about why they can't share the post. Yet they can share 50 other posts by 50 other people, but for some reason when it comes to your post, something happens with their fingers where they're not able to share. At some point, it is what it is. And so let me be clear. They're not obligated to share your stuff. No, they are not. But then what you got to do, once you see that you are looking out for someone who refuses to look out for you, you have to ask yourself, do I have an iron sharpener or an iron duller in my midst? Because if I have an iron duller, then we cannot be friends. Because as iron sharpens iron, a man sharpens the countenance of his friend. We might be acquaintances. We know each other from the neighborhood. We know each other from high school. We went to high school together. We went to college together. Our parents knew each other way back in the day. But today, we are not close friends. This person is not part of my inner circle. They are just an acquaintance who I've been acquainted with for over 20 years. See, sometimes you got to be that honest with yourself so that there is no wiggle room to deceive yourself into making a relationship more than the fruit that's being produced within that relationship. So if you are producing support and the other person is draining you dry and never supporting you, then there's no fruit in that relationship. So why is it when you look out for somebody, when you're supportive, you will have someone who will talk a good game, but there's no follow through? Here's a bitter pill to swallow. There are some people who are never going to help you if it means that you will elevate more than them. Let me say it again. There are some people who will never help you, and I'm talking help you an inch, if it means that you will elevate more than them. And even though you may not be that type of person, because you realize the world is big enough for everybody, you realize that your gifts make room for you, my gifts make room for me, his gifts make room for him. And so because everybody know how to stay in their lane, allowing their gifts to make room for them, we don't operate like that. But just because we don't operate like that, those connected to Cassandra Mack Ministries, those who have a like mind, doesn't mean that there aren't people in the world who are self-seeking. See, the scriptures tell us, James 3:16, James chapter 3, verse 16, that where there's envy and self-seeking, there's confusion in every evil work. So the reason why you confused about the relationship, the reason why you're perplexed about why don't they support me and I support them, why they post everybody else's stuff and I have a cooking channel, so I don't even have something that is controversial. It is a cooking channel where I bake different types of bread. So it's nothing political. It's not religious. If they don't subscribe, it's about bread. It's about pumpernickel bread, wheat bread, rye bread, and raisin bread. And the bread is delicious. And not because I say so, but because we got customers that love the bread. We got people that love the bread. But because it will help you sell another loaf of bread, they're not going to post it. And this is hard. People don't want to believe that people operate like this. But what we have to understand is before somebody is the label that you ascribe to them, whether that label is friend, BFF, best friend forever, sister, cousin, uncle, aunt, mother, father, mentor, before they're the label that you ascribe to them, humans are human first. subject to human nature. The Bible has a lot to say about human nature. And so my question to you is, are you fishing in the bathtub? And by that I mean, are you constantly going to someone for support who's showing you by way of their actions that they have no intention of supporting you? That's fishing in the bathtub. You're looking to eat. You're looking to make a catch in a place where there are no fish. There are no fish in your bathtub. You got to go to the lake. And so when you're fishing in the bathtub, you are throwing the hook out, hoping to be able to catch some support for people whom you've supported. But because you're fishing in the bathtub, there are no fish there. You are not able to eat as long as you're fishing in that place. And so sometimes it means you got to stop asking a person who's showing you that they have no intention of supporting you. Stop asking for their support and move on. And not only stop asking for their support, but is it time to reconfigure the relationship? And so maybe you've always referred to this person as your friend, but they're showing you that they're not really a friend. They're just an acquaintance who you've known a long time. They might have been a friend in a particular season of your life, because friends, right? We have friends, the people we meet are for a reason, a season, or a lifetime, right? This is something that Maya Angelou would always say. The people in our lives are there for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And so sometimes you have friendships that were seasonal. And just like clothes are out of season, right? Like you're not really wearing shorts and sandals in 20-degree weather. You'd be out of season because it's too cold. And you're probably not wearing a heavy down jacket in 101-degree weather because that would be out of season. It's not the season, right? Summertime, when it's 100 degrees, that's not the season for heavy winter boots and a down coat with a scarf and gloves. Just like in very cold weather, 20-degree weather, that is not the season for shorts, sandals, and a t-shirt or a bathing suit instead of being at the beach. So friendships can also be out of season. So it served you in one season. You have memories, and this is the hardest for a lot of us, and I'm guilty of this myself, that a lot of times because we have history with a person, because of the season, right? It could be you went to college together, and those friendships, that's where you're really coming into your own. You're really discovering yourself. And so a lot of times those become the relationships during those college years, even if you didn't actually go to college. But those become the relationships, even high school, that can become the hardest to see and realize that we're not equally yoked anymore. This friendship is out of season. It has outlived its season. And so there was a time where you might have had each other's back because you were on the same level doing the same thing. But sometimes as you begin to outgrow and outpace an individual, even if they don't say that, and most people are not going to say that to you, you'll begin to see a change in the dynamics of the friendship. And especially as you elevate. So you want to be mindful of that because you don't want to waste time. The one thing we don't have in infinite supply is time. And you don't want to waste time with a relationship that is not reciprocal or that has outlived its season. And when you are clear and you move through the world with clarity, you're rarely disappointed. And you rarely go through drama because you nip it, right? The Bible says it's the little foxes that spoil the vine, not the big ones. It's the little foxes. And the reason little foxes spoil the vine is because it's easy to overlook a little fox because it seems harmless. But little foxes spoil the vine because they keep nipping at the vine and they eventually grow up to be big foxes. And when we don't nip it in the little fox stage, then the whole vineyard is ruined. And so the reason why your confidence sometimes takes a beating, the reason why sometimes your self-esteem takes a beating, the reason why sometimes you feel a little depressed when you're around a particular friend or family member who gives you the appearance of support without the action of support is because that's that little fox nipping at the vine. And so every time they make a promise and don't follow through, it's a little fox nipping at the vine. Every time they don't support you, even though you have supported them on numerous occasions, it's a little fox nipping at the vine of your friendship. And it may mean that it is time to cast the foxes out of your vineyard. And it doesn't always have to be a confrontational conversation. So many people think that everything has to be a confrontational argument. No, we grown. This is 2024. Your actions can speak louder than your words, and your actions don't have to be nasty. As believers, we should not be nasty. But we can be firm. And a lot of people will mistake firmness, no nonsense, for being nasty. Extreme firmness and extreme boundaries is not nasty. So it could mean that you're just stepping back. It could mean that you've come to the realization that the friendship is out of season. And because it is out of season, that cannot be a place where you go to for support. That cannot be a place where you can be vulnerable with that individual, because they don't handle your vulnerabilities with care, concern, consideration, and confidentiality. So you're going to have to move differently. And it doesn't mean that you got to be argumentative and combative about it. So begin to realize when you have been a solid, supportive person for someone, but you're not getting that in return, because relationships are supposed to be reciprocal. When people tell you that they're not supposed to be reciprocal, do not pay attention to that. As iron sharpens iron, I'm talking to adults. As iron sharpens iron, an adult, mankind, sharpens the countenance of their friend. That is the purpose of friendship. So begin to take heed, pay attention, and just kind of be prayerful. Go to God. Are there any friendships where I'm constantly looking for support and they saying things? And here's a clincher. They'll say things like, girl, I see you doing your thing. Dude, you knocked it out the ballpark. But when you ask them to share something on social media, so it doesn't cost anything, not something that goes against, their values. When you ask them to come through at one of your events, and you've come through to theirs, so you're not asking for something you haven't given. And they're like, yeah, I'm coming, or yeah, I got you, or yeah, I share your stuff, but you never see it. Oh yeah, I shared it here we go. I shared it in a private text. I shared it in the private text, but I didn't include you in the text. So they want to give the appearance of support so that you're not onto them. This is the thing about envy. Envy is a spirit that hides. See, the scriptures say in James 3:16, where there's envy and self-seeking, there's confusion in every evil work. And the reason you are perplexed, confused about their behavior, why you're like, wait a minute, this don't make sense. I'm supportive of them. When they started their podcast, I shared it on my social media. You can actually see it on my page. I came through and helped them. When they started their business, I did a whole bunch of research and I was sending them links to different places. But when I asked them, oh yeah, I'm going to get to it. And it's been a month. It's been 2 months. They don't want to do it. They don't want to do it. So stop asking. Step back. Or they'll say, oh, I watched your video on such and such and such and such, and it was so good, but there's no share. There's no share. Now, they'll tell you they shared, but you don't see the evidence. Oh, yeah, I shared it privately. But this your friend. And how does sharing it privately help you? So do understand that they don't want to help. And the quicker that you can begin to recognize that you have a very, what I call an anti-deceive me policy. Like, I'm not going to sit here and be deceived. And it's fine. You ain't got to support me. That's not the issue. But don't lie to me. You ain't got to support me. That's fine. But then that goes both ways. And we need to step back. So just be clear. And do know that walking in love, I can't say this enough, doesn't always mean walking in fellowship. And I'll give you a quick example. You see someone homeless on the street and God moves your heart to compassion, and you give them a few dollars, whatever you have, you buy them some food, maybe you do something else out of the kindness of your heart, and you are moved to love and compassion, being the hands and feet of Christ, walking in love. So you're walking in love with that individual, but that does not mean that you are going to give them your phone number and say, hey, call me tomorrow, come to my house tomorrow. And let's say, for argument's sake, God puts it on your heart to do that with that one person. But you're probably not going to do that with every homeless person you see every day, because you don't know them. And not just, they don't have to be homeless. It can be a person that has a home. You're not going to do that with a complete stranger. That's the issue. It's about stranger, not homelessness. So when you are seeing that you are moving forward, you are asking for help, and the person is stringing you along, so they're promising you that they're going to help you, but there's no follow through, understand that they don't want to help you. At some point, they don't want to help you. And the quicker that you can realize that, the quicker you can move on to somebody who really does want to help you, so that you're not wasting a lot of time. And I'll give you an example very quickly in my own life. Many years ago, when I started my company, Strategies for Empower Living Inc., I was doing a lot of training for this one organization in particular. And my evaluations were very good. And I wanted to be able to have references so that I could use those references to get business with other similar organizations. So I asked one of the women who knew about my training, who I thought we were friends, and I'll tell you why in a moment, if she would write a recommendation or a testimonial, or if she could give me copies of the evaluation, even if she had to take the person's name off, so that I had something in writing, because back then we didn't have social media, we didn't have all of that, so that I would have something in writing that would prove that not only did I do business with this company, but that the evaluations were very, very good. And I ended up being their most popular trainer. So she was like, yeah, girl, you know, I got you anytime, girl. Of course, I got you, I got you, I got you. Absolutely. Now let's backtrack. So same woman, maybe a few weeks earlier, before I asked her for the letter, they had cut back her hours at that company. And so I was like, well, I know of another organization who is looking for someone to come in and do A, B, and C. Are you interested? I have a great rapport with them, and the interview would only be a formality because you have everything lined up. You know, you have what they're, you know, you have the qualifications. And so she was like, really? I said, yeah, no problem. I'll put in the call tomorrow. So I made the call. They interviewed her. She got the gig, doing the particular consulting gig. And it never crossed my mind. Like, it was, you know, you needed it. I knew someone, and I also knew your background professionally. You know what I mean? That you had the qualifications they were looking for. Why would I keep that to myself? No reason, you know, no problem. And so I did the very thing that I talk about not doing in the video. I was very young back then, but I did the thing that I talk about not doing, positive projection. And so I presumed that because I had no problem looking out for her, that she was operating in good faith from the same space. And I was sourly disappointed that she was not operating from that space. And so as time went on, I kept calling about the letter. Remember, we didn't have social media and all that other stuff. And she was dragging her feet. And then I noticed she was ducking my calls. And it clicked. I was like, Cassandra, you slow. How you didn't notice this? And it finally clicked. Oh, she don't want to do it. She doesn't want to do it. And then I noticed that just the way that she was with me was different as I began to grow in popularity as a trainer. And we both did training. So I then asked somebody else at another organization, but I didn't know this woman as well as I thought I knew the other woman, right? So I presume that, she may not, she doesn't know me that well, but I did a few trainings, maybe about 3 trainings for this organization. And again, the evaluations were very, very high. And so I asked her, could she pull from the evaluations so that I could use that as a testimonial that I did business with this company and what the attendees who attended the workshop were saying. Next day she called me, oh, your letter's ready. Do you want me to mail it, or do you want to come pick it up? Because again, we didn't have all the things we have today. So goes to show you, you just never know. And me and the other woman, the new woman, the woman from the other organization, not the one who I had helped out, we became, friendly with one another. But it goes to show you that some people won't help you if they think it will help you elevate. But rather than just tell you no, it would have been better for her to just say, I can't do it, because then you're not wasting my time. We don't have to go through me calling you. But the reason why she wouldn't have felt comfortable just coming straight out saying no was because I looked out for her and got her into that organization where the interview was just a formality. So do know that you could look out for somebody, and a person can give you the appearance of support and never support you. Don't change who you are, because I look at it as God blessed me through the other woman. God opened up a door through that other woman. And so, just be mindful. And when you notice that a person is operating from selfishness, from envy, from wanting to use you for your support and resource, understand that you don't want to sow into soil that is barren. That's barren soil. Barren soil. So begin to just figure out how you're going to step back emotionally. Go to God in prayer. Everything don't have to be a confrontation. Everything don't have to be nasty. Some things don't even merit a conversation. You're just moving differently with that individual because you know what it is, and you're treating them according to the fruit that they are bearing in your interactions with them. So with that being said, I hope that was helpful. If you are not a member of the Cassandra Mack YouTube channel, you're missing out. When you become a member, particularly at the Wellness Club tier, you have access to our Wednesday Wellness Club, which is a therapeutic group that meets twice a month by telephone conference call. We focus on mental well-being, self-care, emotional healing through a biblical lens, and is cheaper than therapy by far. And it is therapeutic through a biblical lens. If you're an entrepreneur or leader, I would encourage you to join the Cassandra Mack YouTube channel at the Winner's Circle tier. That tier is specifically for entrepreneurs and leaders in business and ministry, particularly leaders in business and ministry who are new. You're just getting your feet wet, you're just starting to grow. You will definitely appreciate that tier. So with that being said, take care of yourselves, and let's do our best to be kind to one another. Till next time.
No matter who you are, you will have haters. John 15 verse 18 says, if the world hates you, know that it hated Jesus first. So if you have haters, know that God is greater than your haters. Lately you've been feeling the weight of your haters coming at you with their envy and their hate, scheming against you, throwing mud on your name. But God's gonna work it out despite their lies and game. God is greater, so much greater than your haters. God is greater, don't give up, it'll pay off later. God is greater, through the pain you're a giant slayer. Let the haters hate while you elevate. Pay no mind to the critics, be about your goals. Keep rising, keep shining. Your haters can't stop no show. They can hate all they want to. Remember you are blessed. Never let a hater see you sweat, 'cause this is just a test. God is greater, so much greater than your haters. God is greater, don't give up, it'll pay off later. God is greater, through the pain you're a giant slayer. Let the haters hate while you elevate. Don't let the negativity poison your mind. Run your race with grace, one day at a time. They can laugh and they can mock you, but you won't miss a beat. When people don't receive you, shake the dust off your feet. God is greater, so much greater than your haters. God is greater, don't give up, it'll pay off later. God is greater, through the pain you're a giant slayer.